Turning now to another huge story about to unfold in a New York City courtroom, and that is the Fox News Dominion lawsuit. Tonight, a judge is slapping sanctions on Fox News for withholding key evidence in that lawsuit filed by Dominion Voting Systems. The judge issued a stern rebuke and will likely start an investigation into whether lawyers for Fox News deliberately withheld key evidence in the case. The evidence was only handed in last week, and according to the New York Times, it's a recording of Fox host Maria Bartiromo speaking with former President Trump's lawyers, Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell. Dominion Voting Systems is suing Fox News and its parent company, saying Fox hosts knew they were airing false claims about the 2020 election. Fox says it is protected by the First Amendment. The trial is gearing up to be the media trial of the century. The list of players potentially testifying include Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, and Rupert Murdoch, to name just a few. Joining us now to break it all down is NewsNation media contributor Colby Hall and NewsNation legal contributor Jesse Weber. Okay, gentlemen, jury selection starts tomorrow, opening argument slated for Monday, and we get this big, to-do from the judge today. There might be an investigation into the Fox lawyers withholding evidence. This can't be a good way to start.
I cannot think of a worse way to start a trial. I mean, the hits just keep on coming for Fox News. First, they lost a big ruling last week where the judge said the jury is not even going to have to determine if these statements were false. They're false. So now the jury has to just determine if they're defamatory. Now they're being accused of withholding information, discovery violations. Every judge hates it. Every judge thinks it's serious. But in a case where they're accused of misrepresenting and not handing over, not being transparent, I couldn't make this up if I was writing the show. It's really a bad way to come.
It's a no good, very bad, horrible, terrible day for Fox News public relations. Because, I mean, the heart of this case is, did Fox News withhold the truth from their viewers in the name of, building an audience? And candidly, the judge is fed up, said it was very serious. He was very concerned. And this is the worst possible way for them to start a lawsuit about their value of being truth arbiters.
And by the way, when we talk about sanctions, the reason that's so serious, it's not just that Fox News might have to cover the costs if there's a further deposition. Alex Jones lost those cases because he refused to be compliant with discovery obligations. It was a default judgment. And I'm not going to say the same thing.
But I mean, failure to turn over evidence after you've been ordered to do so is a very big deal in courts of law. You are right. Alex Jones has to pay up a lot of money. He's been ordered to do so. Right. And who knows if he ever will do so because of that exact thing. But it makes me wonder, guys, given all the damaging things that have been revealed thus far about the private text messages and emails within Fox News, why would they withhold that? What could possibly be?
Oh, I could only imagine it was because it was embarrassing and they were just trying to be protective. And as it turns out that Rupert Murdoch will go to trial, it looks, on Monday. Now, Fox News is arguing that this is First Amendment and this could have a chilling effect on the way journalism operates. I argue that this is really about accountability. Maybe there's some benefits to the chilling effect in that you can't lie to viewers in the name of selling product. Yeah, and so, it's clear that they've made the judge angry. There's a lot of evidence out there. It's not looking, we'd rather not be on the Fox News side of the trial at this point.
Kobe is so jaded because Fox News is saying, we didn't know about these recordings. A little hard to believe when it's their own employee, but that's going to be their argument. And I will tell you, I'm struggling what is going to be the defense moving forward.
What is going to be the defense? If the judge has said it's false, end of story.
Well, remember, the jury has to determine actual malice. So what does that mean? The jury would have to determine that these statements were made with Fox knowing they were false or with a reckless disregard for the truth. Obviously, that's problematic, as we talked about with the multiple messages, internal messages between Fox News talent.
Right, we have Tucker saying to Laura Ingraham, Sidney Powell is lying, by the way. I caught her. It's insane. Laura answers, Sidney's a complete nut. No one will work with her. Ditto for Rudy. I mean...
Well, and by the way, he also said how much he hated Trump in those revealed texts. Guess who was on Tucker Carlson last night? And, we talked earlier, why would the two of them get together after those texts were revealing? Well, it's a symbiotic relationship. Right. They need each other's audience. Trump needs the Tucker viewers, and Tucker needs the Trump base. And that really was at the heart of what Fox News was doing. They were so afraid of losing their audience that they hid the truth.
And I'm just curious if they can say all these statements were taken out of context. I think that's going to be a stretch a little bit.
We'll see.
Well, that's what they said thus far.
And they're going to say, look, you know, they're limited in their First Amendment defense, but they are going to say it was opinion, but the judge is only allowing that to go so far. I'm very curious to see the defense. I think the plaintiff here has some very strong evidence.
No, the judge has already said that just because you had a reporter on another show at another time of the day saying these facts have not been proven to be true, there is no evidence to back up these claims.
It doesn't wash away.
It doesn't wash away
exactly right.
the fact errors in prime time, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot of the two of you in the next couple of weeks.
stuff.
Jury selection starts tomorrow. Judges ruled the jurors cannot be asked how they voted, but they can be asked who they watch.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.